Hello and welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode on GTA 5 driving through the subway tunnels. And I know what you're expecting to have happen. Yes, you're expecting a train to turn up and weird things to happen. But no, this time around we don't have a train involved. No, instead it's a helicopter. You see, as the player wants to call in a new vehicle to use, the game decides the best place to spawn it is directly on top of their car, rolling said car over and putting the helicopter in a rather dangerous position. That is a very fail-racy way to deliver a vehicle. I guess the helicopter was upside down. Would have been the more fail-racy way, but there we go. MustangPughetti up next on Just Cause 4 has got one of the, I don't know, it's a destroyer, heavily armoured boat thing got going on here that is learning a new sort of turning manoeuvre in all of this. Yes, we're going to go for a roll mid-corner. I think there was an upside-down boat somewhere. I think the back of it might have clipped that caused it to tip. I mean, it landed on another boat, destroying it, so it was a vaguely effective manoeuvre. It's definitely one way to corner in a boat. BackDaddy is up next on Wreckfest, driving what starts off as a fairly normal race. Now, I presume it has got the damage on extreme or whatever it is, because they've got a health bar on the vehicle, which has led to a very funny shaped car. Now, we've seen flatmobiles squashed from the roof down, but this is a different kind of flatmobile. It is being squished from sort of side to side. Managed to make a monster truck out of a Mark III Supra. Look at that. Look at that ground clearance it's got going on. It's quite impressive. Killer Robot up next on Cyberpunk. Yes, with a car hat. A proper, actually, perfectly balanced car hat we have going on here. I'm presuming the game tried to load two different traffic cars in the same parking spot, and it figured the best way to do with it was actually better than pinging them to space. It's a hell of a car hat going on here. It's not quite perfectly balanced. The top car is just a tiny bit off to the side, but still pretty good going. We have Monarch up next on Assetto Corsa in a race at Bathurst. Watch the BMW up ahead. It was a little bit wide through one of these corners, then a bit wide for the player, and then we're going to go for a roll. You don't have small crashes at Bathurst. It just doesn't happen. But it's a surprisingly good landing from the AI, I have to say. Yeah, BMW, it gets a little out of shape, recovers it through here, is out on the marbles, does manage to recover, actually slightly better than the player car that ends up out of shape. But yes, through this next corner, just big understeer, clonk off the wall, bounce on the roof, it comes back down onto its wheels. I mean, it could have been worse. It wasn't great. Could have been a lot worse. Dragon Hunter is up next on Need for Speed Most Wanted. Now, they are playing around with the police, enjoying some police chases, so when they start to get away, they go to slow down to let the police catch up. The thing is, police don't know what's going on. This is the FailRace Police Department in action for you. For some reason, they seem to have thought the player's gone off the motorway, so they go down the slip road. No, there's not a player car down there, so they're going to spin around and they're going to look confused and they're going to try and figure out what's going on. And then they're going to go back up the slip road that they came down, crashing into it all the way up the slip road there. You can just about in the distance see the sparks going on as they manage to fumble it. Oh, and no, go back down the slip road again. Ah, the FailRace Police Department at their finest and their most effective right there. Matrix Anti on Need for Speed rivals, driving the police Koenigsegg. Gets things a little bit wrong, doesn't quite carry the speed into this slip road that they were perhaps, or this shortcut I guess you should say, that they were perhaps wanting to. When they get the jump wrong as well, car launches a bit too early, it ends up stuck on a roof. And the problem is, there's not really much grip on the roof, and we're going to slowly slide off the roof and onto the floor. And there we go. That's, well done, Koenigsegg. Thomas Zest on a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 is racing McLaren F1. Got a bit too much airtime. That's not quite where you wanted to park. Now we've made a car flag. Yes, even on old Need for Speed games, car flags were possible. That's just a very wedged McLaren. And all of that lovely lead, nothing you can do. I don't know if there was a reset button on this game either. Like if you pause the menu, I don't know if the game's not automatically resetting the car. I think it might just be stuck there for all time. So there we go. That is one hell of a car flag for the McLaren. We're on to the long drive with Sir Argus, having a little bit of an investigation. This is a very, very dull workshop. Of all the workshops you can find, these are the sort that suck because there's just nothing. There's a chassis of a car. It's a rubbish workshop, though. However, here comes the rabbit to investigate the player. Now, the player does a good job of keeping stuff between them and the rabbit. The rabbit is then having a very big investigation. He's not so pleased with the turbo that is sticking out of the bonnet of the player's car. Yes, we're going to bounce off. Normally, the rabbit touches the car and it dies, but no, this one's bounced on the bonnet, on the turbo, and then run into the house and got stuck on a table, and that's the end of the rabbit. But It really wanted to crush the turbo. It was very angry at. I mean, it is a massive turbo. I am impressed with the turbo on that one. Douglas up next on BeamNG Drive is doing some off-roading with a donk that you expect to go wrong. Let's face it, this is not your normal off-roading vehicle, and I expect this to go wrong. But it doesn't go wrong in the way that you are expecting it to all go wrong, because a little bit too much oversteer clips a rock and manages to beach the donk. I was expecting broken suspension, but no, it's just got wedged. It's lifted the back of the car up just high enough that the wheels can't touch the ground, and it's very stuck in all of that. Finally, we have KV on a BeamNG Drive racing a rally car, and, well, you often don't have small crashes with rally cars on Beam, and sure enough, this one has had a monstrous shunt. And then we create a nice little bit of automotive art. It's another perfectly balanced car. Look at it somehow. Despite all the wheels being at all the wrong angles and everything's very busted, that is really, really well balanced on its side. You couldn't do one, but you couldn't really do that one better if you tried. However, there is a more impressive thing. Despite the wheels being at just about every conceivable wrong angle, the car still drives. Rally cars are tough. And sometimes, I mean, it's got hit quite hard on a wheel again. Yeah, rally cars are very, very tough, and they can be. Sometimes they'll break in that sort of a crash, but this one, no. This one is determined to carry on. Doesn't really have much steering left anymore. Funnily enough, one of the wheels is inside out, but nope, we're still going to keep carrying on. Still going to keep going. We're going to go for another roll for good luck. We'll flip that, and we'll land it back down nicely, and it still somehow works. So, yeah, not only was it a piece of automotive art in terms of its balancing, it is still functioning. I mean, barely functioning, and does bounce off just about everything. But I'm astounded that car is still going. It finds its way into a wall, but still wouldn't have been enough to kill it. That is the rally car that would not give up. But that is indeed going to be it for this video. If you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. There'll be a link to it in the description. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.